Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of everybody's favorite podcast. And by everybody's, I mean exactly my mom and maybe her friends. But without further ado, welcome back to another episode of the Gloves Off Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things Super Smash Brothers and Super Smash Brothers accessories. I, as always, am one of your fabulous hosts, Master Hand Games Koopa, joined, as always, to the NRG to my Nairo. It's Mr. Chris EX. What's up?
Not too much, man. How we doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Been a nice long weekend with the gentleman that is also in the call with us today. One of the head concierge of Chavo Towers, commentator extraordinaire from the Connecticut region, Mr. Flashpoint Ajax. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Happy to be here. You already know.
Yeah, man. It's always a pleasure having you. We might have some other goons hopping in the call at some point. We'll see what happens. We're definitely as always we are wildly unprofessional, and we will continue to do this until they turn our internet off. So we will go about that as always. So we got a pretty okay. I'd say a meatier episode than I would have expected this week. We have some storylines that have come out. Obviously, Mainstage happened this weekend. Beyond the Summit's first Smash Major they hosted over the weekend. We have some news regarding Hero, which raised an interesting debate. Also, a lot of it stemming from Mainstage, which is what I love it when the main topic bleeds into like a bunch of subtopics. Which is essentially what, it's great. Like the trickle down economics of podcast topics is simply something to marvel at. But I guess we should start with what I think is the biggest story. Overclock 3 this weekend. I mean, excuse me. To be fair, Overclocked is a great story. Mostly because I got to listen to Rafi X drop an F-bomb in the middle of a set. That was quite fantastic.
Everybody has their first time hearing it, man.
Dude, Robs are so problematic, man. No matter what.
Dude, my man got he got up smashed by Lucina, and then he just I think he got down aired, and he was just like fuck, and I was like, whoa, does that happen?
Sometimes.
Well, with Rafi, it's like a smooth transition. Everything's kind of sitting cool. Seems like he's kind of styling a bit. You feel all comfortable, feel all nice and welcome, and then all of a sudden that. It just comes out of nowhere, man, and you just weren't ready. You just weren't ready. Like Dinner in a Movie was great, but then boom, it's like whoa, okay.
that was something. But Overclocked was fun. Always a great time. Love Balance Patch. Also love my stay at Chavo Towers. Ajax's dog makes great company.
Chavo's dog. What?
Dude, those tournaments always pop off, man, because you're almost always hitting cap or hitting cap, because I think I looked at the bracket there.
That one was capped.
That was capped. So I put you at 2 something?
192.
192. Okay.
That's the venue allowed cap, and then occasionally there's the fire marshal. Please don't come in cap.
That's crazy considering the fact that like the big killers for Mars and Light were out at Mainstage this weekend, but New England still showed up in spades. With I do want to give a shout out to Lade Fitz, Mr. Kool-Aid, for winning the tournament. It was honestly like number one. Like Kool-Aid's one of my favorite players to watch because he's like so he's so flashy. His brain is smooth but has plenty of wrinkles at the same time. Like he's just a real joy to watch. But also considering everything that he's like gone through the last week, like it was a real like feel good story.
Exactly. He's just one of those people who around the region you could kind of forget about it if you're not from around here, but he's so talented and he puts in so much work, and to see when the big boys weren't home that he was able to still hold it down, usually around that third position, outside of strong performances like say Rafi this season, and look at those guns. Like you can't even see like the rest of what's going on there.
Man, yeah.
I'm still waiting for the eventual Chris CX Kool-Aid arm wrestling competition.
Oh my god,
the world
that's kind of hype, dude. He's got pipes, man. Like I'm pretty confident in like my strength, but like he's a big boy.
Yeah, there aren't like many people that I like get to spend my close immediate time with that aren't Chris who have arms bigger than him. Like you're definitely one of them, like probably the fittest person that I know. But Darius is definitely he's there, man. He's built.
Like big things in small packages just describes Kool-Aid as best as you possibly can. This man is just a massive machine of a human being that takes up 2 seats, but he's also just holdable size. Like you could pick him up. And
Yeah,
just put him on
but
top of the shelf.
yeah, yeah, but like I'm really glad you brought it up that because like Kool-Aid's definitely the one that plays like third fiddle to Mars and Light the most. I feel like
Oh
a lot in New
yeah.
England. Yeah, obviously Rafi has kind of cemented himself as like the third, guy on Mount Rushmore with his performances last
Yeah,
season.
this season especially, and even the season prior, Ling Ling coming out and getting that C-tier win over at Smash Adelphia included many great performances out of region. So for us in NE, we always talk about how Mars and Light kind of carry us, but it's there's a lot of people who are making the effort to make it so that's not the case. And you got Pelka and the likes of others too, and it's great to see. But the real, like you said, real good feel good story for everything that Kool-Aid's been going through. It's one of those people you never want to see ever upset about quite literally anything. And
No,
to
yeah,
see him winning, that felt really good.
yeah, like it truly couldn't have happened to a better person. But yeah, that was fun. And
Who
like we mentioned,
who won Xeno before we go any further? I'm just
Venia.
Venya
Yeah.
with the technical 3-peat,
Dude,
I guess he called it.
I think it's technically a 4-peat.
he's got New York on lock, man. Between him and Jen,
Mhm.
like forget it.
Yeah.
Those are the boys.
Yeah, those two usually go back and forth with Jen, who was on the higher up on the win loss record last I checked. But recently, Venya's kind of just figured something out, and that Venya is an absolute fiend.
Dude,
Yeah, man.
he's like he's kind of one of those guys who's got like that fighting spirit too. I think he's like he actually does fighting, doesn't he?
My God, he's a boxer. I love everything about MGW's Twitter recently, by the way.
Dude, MGW's great.
He's just such a great guy, but also the stuff he keeps doing about like the tropes of smashers at tournaments. It makes me cry at work.
Yeah, because yeah, New York's cool because that tournament popped off too because I think they had like 150 something. This was a big weekend for tournaments, but yeah, I guess the main one we're here for is of course the fabled PGR S tier, convincingly so this time. That was Mainstage.
Yes. So Mainstage was the big profile event of this weekend. It's crazy that even as we like continue on to like late September, moving into early October, there's still like a major thing happening every weekend. Like just when I think that like the year's gonna slow down, it never does. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, that was the big thing that happened this weekend. Mainstage was in S tier, rightfully so. There was a large portion of the PGR top 50 there. Even despite the fact that Tweak dropped, the tournament was still able to maintain S tier status. Because I learned this weekend that certain players I had no idea like certain players were like tiered like point wise. So like that's what determines like what tier your tournament gets to, which I feel varying ways about. But
oh, you already know how I feel.
yeah.
We talked about this a lot last week or last episode.
We did. That's true, we did. But yeah,
there's a big reason why like that little miniature pop-up tournament we had was able to turn into a C tier with only a few people because Mars and Light in attendance at anything automatically gets it to like most of the points necessary for a PGR event.
Well, hey, Thunder Smash 3 I think is already like B, and I don't think it has many people signed up. It's now the system that we're in.
Yeah, but they also did just fly out all like the international talent that they were advertising for, so that's gonna be sick.
That is cool. I will say that is a cool thing. So we'll see what it actually goes with like raw numbers, but it's probably a matter of time.
Shout out to my man Ben Gold.
I was just about to bring him up because actually one of the things I really like about what they're doing with that is not only are they taking out the normal international talent we're used to seeing like Japan, but they went and reached into places like Australia where it's run by a freaking K Rool main. And Ben Gold is like I can't wait to see what he does when he comes over here. He also co-mains Bowser, so like that's gonna be it's a smart business decision. But his K-Rool puts in work, and I'm looking forward to seeing Australia get some proper rep after meeting people like Ben Brownjamin over at Goodwill, and the amount of effort they put over there for being a scene that nobody really knows about because it's they're awake when we're asleep. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so like
Well
it's
They
gonna
said.
they
it's
cel-
gonna
they
be fun.
Did you know you can celebrate Christmas on the beach in Australia?
What a world.
Yeah, like we had a foreign exchange student when I was in high school, and he was like, "Oh, you guys don't go to the beach on Christmas?" And we're like, "Bro, you feeling all right?"
It's like the fuck?
Yeah, you were in the wrong hood, my friend. But yeah, so main stage this
You like to
weekend.
keep all your gifts. Go ahead and stay inside.
Yeah, it's like you want to go to the beach on Thanksgiving too. We can do that. Like roast a turkey over an open flame. Uh,
I'm down.
but yeah, so main stage this weekend, obviously having melee and ultimate singles. And speaking of roasting, that did involve the roast of Bobby Scar, which I did not see much of. But from what I heard, it looks like it was pretty good. So I'm a big fan of roast comedy. I know it's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, but when they did it for Hugs, I think like 2 years ago, I was a big fan. So I definitely.
I personally didn't watch it, but I caught a couple bits here and there, and it was definitely entertaining. It's also a nice way to yeah, you know me, I'm big on outside of gameplay engagement. It kind of pre-conversation stuff we were talking about the you know the needing to be more than just a game or money. Like what else makes the viewership get involved, and stuff like that is really cool because it makes people want to get involved. Whether you like it or not is neither here or there, but it's something new. And for melee players who have been doing the same thing for the past 15 years, a new thing every once in a while, like maybe a little bit extra sprinkle on top might be nice. But it was nice to see because there was some entertaining feats that gave more character to Scar, who already has a lot that might have gotten a few new faces who normally wouldn't have watched something like that in there.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, I'm a big fan of it. Like I just like roast comedy. I found it ironic that this was the same weekend as the roast of Alec Baldwin on Comedy Central. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, or they were like a week apart from each other. But like, I just found it incredibly funny how like these two things happened like right next to each other. I just found it incredibly ironic. So, yeah, but
shout out to Alec Baldwin.
It's a sentence that you know what? I'm not sure how I feel about this. Yeah, you're right. Shout out.
Yeah, there he is.
He's funny.
Yeah,
he's
funny guy. I love
definitely
30
a
Rock.
celebrity. Yeah, big fan of 30 Rock.
Big fan.
Makes a great makes a great bit on SNL too. But
yes, I wonder what after today's announcement his bits are gonna be like.
Oh,
we won't get too far into that
boy.
because this is a video game stream, but definitely look forward to seeing what some upcoming stuff are. But speaking of feel good moments we were talking about earlier with people winning, obviously I was there was some points in there with the tournament that got me a little bit sad, but there is zero chance you could get upset about seeing this man who's been working so hard to finally get back to the top and watching Nairo win main stage.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. Like that is the. I mean, this is most of my Mondays are okay, but like a Monday waking up after seeing that Nairo wins an S tier, like that brings me copious amounts of joy. Because like obviously we're very close to the situation. Like I've watched Nairo play for years and I've gotten to know him really well over the last few years, and I know how much this means to him. Like he takes these losses really hard, and he's constantly like putting his nose to the grindstone.
That tried down up air was so good.
Yeah, oh my god, this character's so fucking cool, man. Fuck what everyone else says, but yeah, Nairo finally able to win the big dance, and in impressive fashion. Like Nairo's stock has been steadily on the rise since like the end of the summer. I think that Evo placement really kind of woke him up, and he's like, "Yo, I need to get my shit together." And he really capped it off with like an impressive end of the summer, obviously with 5th place at SmashCon and third place at Shine, and finally capping it off with the S tier win, over a lot of his demons too, which you really really like to see. Obviously, Light's someone that can give him problems, and he did. Mars is someone that's had his number for the better part of since the game came out, and he was able to get a set victory over him in reverse Rio fashion, and going down losing 4 straight games to Leo, in grands and being able to win the tournament, that was super impressive.
Yeah, it just speaks like to true perseverance, like in itself, the way you just said that. To just that pop off we saw a second ago. If you saw how much it meant to E10 when he won, and like the tears that came out from him, and then it like the genuine like heavy pop off from Nairo in his seat, and then the big smile after. It's because of how much effort they put in. Like as I've traveled more, I've seen some of these heartfelt losses from these players firsthand. So I've even witnessed Nairo like just never being happy, whether it be like 17th or 3rd, it doesn't matter because he wants the win. And for him representing his fans with Knifey Nation, pretty much like the most interactive streamer of Smash that we have right now. Like it feels good to see him being able to do that for not only himself but his fan base, and really feel like he's like all the effort he's put in, regardless of all those L's, like you mentioned before, he can still get through. And that's some really nice stuff. Even if the couple of those people mentioned happen to be people who I really want to see win as well. And I've already seen Mars win a few, and I've been dying to see Light win one. Like just all heavy bias on that one, watching this kid grow. But you know what? I can't be upset when I see the likes of Nairo doing what he did, and also things being changed up really these past couple events. It's not just Leo winning now.
Yeah, there seems to be something happening, and Kupi, as mentioned earlier, like Nairo kind of on the come up since the summers like ended, and that's very true because when the game kind of started, I guess not that he struggled to get started because he really didn't. He's still placing extremely well. Very clear that he's among the top ranks of this game, but he's kind of hovering around like that, like latter part of top 8 versus being at the top of it. So, winning a tournament, let alone an S tier, which is the system it's a big deal. It really is, and it's exactly what the people want. So it is nice to see.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because like it's not that Nairo's been performing like poorly, but like if you look at how he started like those first like that year plus of Smash 4 versus the first year plus of this game, it's kind of it's night and dayish because Nairo went from getting literally second at everything. Like he was head like it was him, Zero, and the field for the first like that first like year and a half of Smash 4. I'd say it's when that first Genesis came back in 20 I think 2016. That's when things like that it wasn't the meta started to catch up a bit to everybody, but still like it's really really nice to see him kind of return to form with a character that people are very outspoken about. Like depending on who you talk to, some people will say that Palutena is she's at the top of high tier. She's not even that great. Some people will say she's a top 5 character in the game.
I actually watched let's see, it's probably like all of top 8. Yeah, it was like like a majority of the top 10 players when I was at CEO, when we went out to go get food afterwards, they all just stood there and kept telling Nairo, please stop playing Palu and play like something better or this or that. And he stuck with it. Like it's so easy to say that was some of the best gameplay we've seen out of Nairo. Just because he won, but it quite literally was like the best gameplay we've seen on Nairo. Like the decision making he was making, the things he was doing, the optimization of like up tilt at the ledge. As simple as it may seem to people, it was a really good bait that would set things up for it. That was premier Nairo in his prime gameplay that we're used to seeing, and that's something to be feared if you're seeing him up against you in your bracket now, especially with the confidence he just got off of that W.
Yeah, no, like I'm really glad you brought that up because like I was definitely one of those people where I felt like Palutena wasn't exactly like a Nairo like archetype character. Like Nairo tends to play these like pressure heavy like mix up characters. These characters that can like they can overwhelm you in a multitude of different ways. I feel like Palutena is incredibly linear as a character. Like she's incredibly good. Like that straight line, it's the straightest line you're ever gonna see in your entire life. Like it's a good line.
Hey, even if it's simple optimization, as long as it's optimized, that's what matters. Like if you're getting a W at the end of the day, like then it's all good. And so you're right. Like majority of people just joke about the Nair, which kind of it's amazing, but at the same time, like did it get you to win or did it not? Like that's what matters. Like if your big old mix up only gets you 20% and no kills versus 1 to 2 Nairs that netted a kill, like then who's really the winner here? And who's the idiot?
Yeah, no, without a doubt. yeah, it was definitely like impressive to watch. Obviously, like I think uh I hope Palutena might be on suspect watch from Nintendo. You know, we are nearing we're very dangerously approaching November. So like, you know, as we get closer to Terry Bogard, it could mean, you know, they might make Palutena's Nair square or something. I don't know. They could do something like
Did you guys notice that flash in the VOD? I thought I just had like a stroke.
what?
Why
You
is
mean
that? Why is that in the middle of the VOD? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh.
Did you see that? Look.
Yeah, get a surprise guest appearance by TK.
Look, gameplay. Here they come.
Boom.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought for a hot second we were joined by an intruder, but
Yeah,
he appears
almost.
to be-
Maybe one day.
No. Like I said, we were joined by TK and EE, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
The Black
Obviously-
Plague has entered the building.
yeah. Yeah, so obviously good stuff to Nairo. He gets the proverbial monkey off of his back of the S tier win. You know, these S tiers when they, you know, they are, you know, they're coming with a little bit more frequency because of how the PGR status is labeled out. But, you know, it's still really hard to win one of these, man, especially, you know, with the people that Nairo had to beat, people who have beaten him in the past and have given him fits. But, and, you know, obviously Leo, the big story here is that he does not come out on top this weekend. I think it was Paradin that tweeted it over the weekend, but she said that Leo has never won a singles tournament where he's won doubles. So that's a very
wow.
yeah, that's a
Paradin
so
stats apparently.
yeah, a Paradin.
I get it.
I'm unplugging right now.
I gotta go.
Got him.
That is actually a really interesting stat, though. I did not know that. That's
So
entertaining to think about, actually.
I gotta say the one thing that you know, getting a little more into the top 8, and speaking of Leo, is set with Mars, where Mars goes Mega Man and wins. That was definitely something to, at least for me to behold. Because I don't know, the jury's still out on Mega Man a little bit, let alone like a secondary Mega Man.
Well, he's had a Mega Man for a while now. Like Mars,
yeah, but
is
it's
one of
definitely
those, like,
still a secondary. Like,
yeah, but like it's one of those like things where the talent of a player kind of carries like the content of what you're getting from the character sometimes. You know what I mean? Like his Mega Man's still really good, and I know he's been working on it quite a bit. That amongst other characters, but he kind of just does whatever he feels like at the weeklies, and that was something he proactively was kind of practicing with. So, but still, like you said, like that versus the concept of Leo, like I think that just kind of speaks volumes to probably the issue with the matchup. Oh dear.
Oh, lo-fi hip hop beats to study to.
That's
My apologies. That is the ambient noise of my warehouse. Hello, everybody.
Oh snap! We have our first invader of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome back to the podcast, America's favorite talk show guest, Frank in the Car, aka Hangman. What's up, man?
Me. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Yeah,
you.
Did you? So, what is there any latest updates on the cat?
Neither of them. Neither the mystery cat nor Patches.
What?
Dude, that raccoon
Fat Boy actually got me in trouble.
Dude, yeah, because he's listening to you talk shit.
Fat Boy has left shreds of snack wrappers all over the parking lot, which has gotten myself and the warehouse next to us in trouble with the landlord.
Son of a bitch.
So now Fat Boy has officially sabotaged my my ability to fund my Yoshi farm, and I'm pissed.
Oh no,
Man, I get one episode story arc of Patches and these cats, and then I come back and the season's already over, man. Like I want a full season.
Yeah, there's a raccoon involved now, Ajax.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy.
the lore of the podcast continues to run deeper than the deepest crevice of planet Earth. It's truly something to marvel at. So, Frank, while we got you here, we are talking about Mainstage. So I'm not sure how much of it you saw. So you got any thoughts on the tournament?
Thoughts on Mainstage? Just that it was a pretty interesting top 8 that I was able to watch for once. That usually doesn't happen, but I was able to. It was enjoyable. And Mars's Mega Man has been getting me hyped since the beginning of Ultimate, and nice to see it make a very relevant cameo appearance at this event.
Yeah, winning Game 5 set against Leo.
And that game 5, he had to like bring it back from deep too. He was losing by a fair amount.
Yeah, dude, he was down like full stock, and then he was at like 180 by the time he won.
Yeah, Mega Man, we said this. I've said this summer, but like Mega Man just fits the archetype of character, and I think just gives Joker fits. Like Joker already has trouble killing, and Mega Man is just heavy enough to where he just kind of lingers around for too long. Kind of like if like you fart in an elevator, like it's just like it just like stinks up a little bit too much.
Mega Man
he's literally-
dictates the neutral. He has the world's fakest sword, but plays by sword rules.
To be fair, he stole that sword from like a robot master. Like,
Yeah, he
it's
had to kill
not
someone
even
to get
his
that
sword, you know. Yeah, and he did. He had to kill someone. Like,
Yeah, and much like the elevator reference too, you know, he just slowly picks at your sanity, slowly over and over, trying to figure out where this damage is coming from, and then all of a sudden you just lose it, but you died.
Yeah,
Because you don't realize he's already gone.
any of these comparisons I can make for Mega Man could also be used for office life. So Mega Man is essentially just that coworker you can't stand. But it's funny. I also like always like to bring up like almost all of Mega Man's like special like all of his normals and like specials are like essentially useless like canon wise. Like Flame Sword, I don't think is like that useful of a robot weapon.
It is not. It's from Mega Man 8, and it's actually one of the most useless weapons in Mega Man 8, which is astonishing because Mega Man 8 has some bad Robot Master weapons.
yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. They're mostly utility weapons in that game. Like, you use them to do things in the stage.
To defeat the evil Dr. Wily.
Dr. Wowie.
Dr. Wally.
So what you're saying
Love
is the raccoon mains Mega Man.
Yeah,
God, I would hope not.
yeah. So obviously, you know, Mars coming through as a secondary. Obviously, that's a big deal. As well as you look at the rest of the top 8, Light continuing to stay consistent. Obviously, like we said, he's another one of those guys that had like definitely a rough beginning of the summer, but has since righted his own ship. Obviously, second place at Glitch last weekend, fourth place weekend losing to Leo. And then you look at the rest of the top 8. I'd say not like super surprising, but also kind of like there's definitely a couple of oddities here. Obviously, the biggest one being T, the Pac-Man main from Japan, coming through a
That's your biggest
fifth place
oddity?
finish. I mean, yeah, it's Pac-Man.
Well, I mean,
That's normal
I
in
still
these
think-
streets.
I still think Pac-Man is much better than people give credit. But I think the big one for me, like the breakout performance for somebody at like an event that has been this stacked is Mutace, because Mutace has done quite well for himself at a lot of events, but usually only with 1 to 2, maybe 3 like big competitors. But this is the first S tier where Mutace says somebody's snacking over there.
Frank does work at a snack factory. So.
I do, yes. You're hearing the moving of dozens upon dozens of snacks.
Dude, that's why you got raccoons around.
That is actually why we have raccoons,
That makes
because
a
they
lot of
smell the
sense.
delicious.
Dude, he's trying to like probably he's trying to like take all your snacks. He's
trying to
got
be
the
a Steely
boys.
boy.
Dude, he's got the boys probably waiting in the ranks, like, and he's
Yeah, the
just planning.
raccoon is like putting into work in the back. Just make sure 6ix9ine doesn't know his current location, otherwise the whole thing's going down.
Dude, they're gonna all corner you one day and just be like, all right, we're taking this.
God, I hope not.
We're taking this bitch. But yeah, Mutace he's good, man. And I agree that seeing him in the top 8 of an S tier, because what's he ranked on the PGR currently?
He's ranked 22nd, I think, or
22nd. So yeah, I mean that's solid.
I think
man.
he's in the 20s somewhere. I don't remember.
Taking out the
exactly where.
buzz along the way, like that's a huge W. With the greatest pop off that we've all ever seen. If you can pull off there, it was just so ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
honestly,
wild.
The hardest pop off in 20. It's always the buzz, man. Hardest pop off of his life. But I guess Mutace's definitely the one that I wouldn't have expected to get top 8, considering the fact that he ate copious amounts of shit at Shine, or not Shine, or a Glitch last weekend. 97th is definitely nothing. It definitely doesn't look good on the resume. But yeah, he played really well this weekend, and actually got the last toss-up summit spot that was guaranteed from this weekend. So
Yeah,
because Salem opted just to give it to him. So.
Salem did, really?
Yeah. So him and Salem would have had to play out for. They would have had to play out for the last summit spot because I think 6 summit spots were available for the top 6 placers. Yeah. So it was obviously there's no sixth place in tournament play, so both sevenths would have had to play out for the last spot, and Salem was just like, nah, bro, you can have it.
Is Salem still opting in, trying to get in?
I think
Salem is going to try and win the gameplay.
I'm sorry, he's gonna try to win.
Big house.
Okay, all right. Hey man, that's cool. Keep yourself motivated. That's something. That's interesting because I don't know. He's definitely taken that villain role, seemingly like willingly. I guess if that's how we want to put it.
Right.
So it's just I don't have high hopes for him getting like voted.
I attribute his villain level to that of like a recess show villain.
A million times, yes.
He's a villain of the week.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy who puts his hand, like literally, this is the whole gag, puts his hand out to shake your hand, then like brushes it back into his hair.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So
It's like,
this one I gotta say some stuff on because I came from the FGC. This whole thing, that whole nonsense is so blown out of proportion. It is
Agreed.
so ridiculous. Like, who the hell cares? Like, oh my
Definitely
god.
not me.
Armada's saying, like, yeah, I get that. That's sure it's disrespectful. Armada didn't deserve that, but at the same time, it's like, well, at the end of the day, you could either A, tell them, okay, kiss my ass, or B, you run a money match or something, run them hands, call it a day, and run them hands in money matches before somebody tries to yell at me.
No, we have
But,
the streets now.
But it just makes no sense. It's like, okay, cool. He decided not to do it. You guys can then he's got the interactions he was looking for. But the fact that people were like, "Oh my god, no, you can't do that. No, we should ban him. Oh my god!" Like, who cares?
and he plays that toxic character that's getting banned. We'll get more into that later. It's interesting. So it's
it ain't happening.
But I guess all I'm saying is like I guess we'll see how that translates to votes for something like the summit. I guess.
Yeah,
is what I was getting
well,
at.
it'll definitely put a hole in Justin's campaign, for sure.
Yeah,
by the way,
massive,
if you guys haven't already done so, please go nominate Wish 7S.
We're gonna be marketing that pretty heavy pretty soon.
Yeah. It's his Twitter is @LadeFitness.
Hold on a second.
Not falling for that one.
Wait a tick. But yeah, here's the thing about like handshake gate. Like this wouldn't have been a.
I'm
this
so
wouldn't have been a
mad.
big
I just
deal.
heard those words.
Handshake.
Oh my god.
Here's the deal. This wouldn't have been a big deal for two reasons. Number one, if it was anybody but Salem. Number two, if it was anybody but Armada. It just happened to be the most polarizing, like, Scooby-Doo villain Smash has to offer. Just refusing to shake the hand of one of, like, the forefathers of Super Smash Bros. Like, it just looks bad because of the circumstances. Literally, shit like this happens all the time. I'm sure there's, like, round one scrubs that refuse to, like, shake the hands of the people that beat them. Because of like it's you're not obligated to shake somebody's hand.
There are entire salty mode compilations made of people having a great time laughing about people being salty, storming off, and not shaking hands. But the one time that Salem does it, everything's gotta hit the goddamn fan play. And I'm just like, oh.
And I've seen all the salt compilations, and they are all magnificent.
There's full episodes dedicated to me being in them purely because Interrobang exists.
Oh my god, that's God help all of us.
Oh man, but like
literally, like it was just the perfect storm of people to be involved in this, and like it's such a non-problem that people are making a problem out of it. But hopefully Salem does get into Summit because I'm sure that'll make great skit material. For everybody involved. But yeah, so it looks like, from what I understand, for Summit, it was 6 auto qualifiers for this tournament. I think 2 from Big House, and then 1 more last chance qualifier.
There was also Leo who had won one, but I forgot where.
Well, Leo, I believe, automatically got qualified. Didn't he?
Yeah, him and Tweak were auto invitees. So, by the way, Tweak DQ'd because he was sick this weekend. Hope he's feeling better.
Best wishes to Quick.
Yeah. What's it called? What's wishes? Excuse me. Vote for him for Summit. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, Tweak, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and share this stream out when you listen to us saying we hope you get better.
Yeah, that's if Tweak listens to us, God help us.
He's got gloves off. I love that podcast.
300 Pokemon card packs.
Yeah, he's too busy spending like my month's salary on Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I didn't used to do that when I competed in Yu-Gi-Oh. What? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't have a problem.
Yeah, so the 6 auto qualifiers for this tournament: Nairo, Mars,
Light,
Blight,
Mutace,
Mutace,
T.
T, and Void, who went all
Yes.
mostly Sheik. I'm about
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this new confident Sheik. And by the way,
Happy Void is best Void. Like,
yeah,
that's another one you never want to see upset. And like putting in so much work to climb up, and he was so just happy with getting the slot. Like he's been trying to refine his footing since what happened to Pichu, and now he's showing everybody why we're gonna soon hate this character again. It's a great time.
People tend to forget that even though she might struggle to kill, she's winning neutral like 9 out of 10 times. And I don't know about you, but if I'm winning neutral every 1 in 10 interactions, I don't think I'm winning.
Well, are you playing Bowser?
God, I hope not. Ugh.
That's right. Frank does not exist for said thick voice, but this is also a character that, like you said, just kind of outplays. There's a reason why a majority of characters throughout fighting game history that are at the upper echelon, what doesn't matter what you look at, are usually fast, quick frame dated, control neutral interactive characters. Like it's not about the quick damage. It's about can I just keep you from playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess I would imagine Cheek Snake is a tough matchup for a lot of reasons. But yeah, I mean, he ends up beating Salem, so that's he's definitely pushing the character more than anyone else has. I can't think of a single other Sheik main or anyone even trying. So
yeah, and I'm really glad that he's been able to find the middle ground, also using Sheik in conjunction with Pichu, because I talked to him about this at Glitch. When he had to play Leon, and I asked him, I was like, did you plan on going Pichu? And he's like, well, the problem was I couldn't kill him. So I was like, if I'm gonna die early, he's like, I couldn't kill him, and I was dying at 70. So I was like, if I'm gonna die 70, I might as well at least have the firepower to do so in return.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great combination of characters to possess in your arsenal.
Yeah, that's the thing about that character. Like, if you're gonna play Sheik, you have to go out there and get people. Like that's the thing. Is you're more dependent on your movement than you are. I don't know, honestly. And I forget who said it. What was it? Tweak saying if she put out any more damage than she already did, she'd be broken. And I totally agree with that.
People who want Sheik to have higher damage output are Lion Ladder people.
That is same people who want Jigglypuff to be melee level again.
Those are Sheik apologists. Yes. They miss Prime Smash 4.
Give Sheik the volleyball spike back.
No, let's don't.
Come on, man, it'd be fun.
It's reasons like this with results like that are why I refuse to pretty much look at tier lists solidified for the first year of any fighting game. There you can find the top 10 to 20, absolutely. That's definitely a thing. But this game, there's a top 20 and then just a shit ton of mid tiers. There's not really a bad character in this game, because even the bad characters have some things going for them, and that's ridiculously balanced, and it's kind of insane. But just looking at that graphic right there are a collective 8, then 2, then there's missing a Bayonetta there. There's 12 some odd characters that could just be on there. I'm surprised they don't have Bayonetta behind Mutates, considering you used Bayo more in top 8 than Peach.
Didn't win a game with them though. That's the caveat.
True. But
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. You look down the right side there too, and just how many different characters there are, and you go even further. It's insane.
All I was gonna say is shout outs to Toon Link.
We got Toon Link on the board finally.
Let's go, man. Not just one Toon Link.
Thank you, Chris, for bringing it up.
2 Toon Link.
The character is so much fun.
I've been dealing with Kevaros in my area for quite some time, so
is this character actually good, or
it is a good character?
No meme apparently from my sources.
Big meme, but also you really don't want to deal with the character in neutral because he's just floaty young Link. Mm-hmm. He has the tools to contest you in neutral. He has plenty of firepower for killing you, and he never stopped being an annoying zoning pest.
Yep.
And he
Like,
moved,
that's
yeah, he
still
moves
there.
he moves so fast too, man. Those little legs, like he gets around. He's got a
He
lot
just
of like
falls
just
in.
things he could do.
This falls in
But-
that camp of like there's 80 characters and there's many characters that were doing it better than what he is aiming for. But the problem is there's also 80 characters and people kind of forgot about his like existence. He's a good character.
All the excitement over Young Link when he was re-announced, but yeah, man. I mean, his fair is a little bit of a yeet. Definitely like smacks the crap out of things. Like he's got some things that are neat like about it. A lot of bomb confirms. Like I don't know.
Most importantly of all, they replaced all of his sword sound effects with whip noises.
Yeah, that totally.
So anytime you fight a Toon Link, it's like a Johnny Test.
That's great.
Oh my god, I am a big fan of the smug character portrait though. He's an angry little boy. So we'll see how things stack out. Then obviously the other big story from the tournament is that Sam Sora having his lowest placement since Frostbite. 13th.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's tough when you're at the top, man. There's only one other way to go. Yeah, pretty much
That
all
is
the
very
time.
true.
The only way to go is to France, apparently, which is, I guess we can transition into the other big story that I wanted to talk about this week that's from this tournament. The first acknowledgement of language barrier being a problem in a hero match. So, obviously, the other person, Salem found himself at the center of 2 controversies this weekend. That's like a new record, I feel like. Is what I would say.
Just another day in the office for this guy. Apparently,
I can think of individuals that have had it worse.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
you know what?
At least this is
You know-
game related compared to some other things.
redacted. We're done here. The stream. Suddenly, my internet has broken.
Nuke the VODs, Chris.
we haven't had to hit that button in a while, but yeah. So Salem versus Raito was a top 16 match, I believe, that occurred over the weekend, in which Salem went hero. I don't know if he purposely went hero for the reasons that arouse is that we are playing on the English native language. Raito, a native of Japan, can't read English very well, and obviously was having a lot of problems, anticipating a lot of the stronger spells from hero. Not sure if Salem did that on purpose or just maybe.
don't think
I
so.
want to give I do actually want to give a benefit of the doubt to Salem here purely just because this matchup is actually kind of annoying for Duck Hunt by comparison to say like Snake because he's the whole Snake concept is keep you out and let me trade with you for a while. Problem is Duck Hunt is kind of content with that because Duck Hunt gets set up so it's a much longer game. But Hero has bounce amongst other ridiculously jukey things and just being able to harass from a distance like that. Like there's not too much Duck Hunt could get started up. So that's one thing. Possibly could have done it for the language thing. I sure hope not, but you never know.
You like to not think it, but the reality is he does play this character. He does he does. I mean, this is one of the biggest sets of the past year was him and Leffen, to which he played hero. You know what I mean? Like this is one of his characters. And yeah, if you're playing a weird character like Duck Hunt, anyways, like you just play another weird character. Like that's kind of how this game seems to go.
I'm gonna pile in with Ajax and give benefit of the doubt to Salem, only because as someone who has played Duck Hunt extensively, I can tell you that the matchup against Hero is very wonky. Hero, besides the shenanigans of reading, there's a lot that's in his kit that works extremely well against Duck Hunt. He has like big aerials, which allow you to protection from the can if the can is ever present, and any good Duck Hunt will have their can around all the time. If he stands still, he doesn't have to worry about the clay pigeon or any of the wild gunman shots because the shield it protects you from projectiles. Same thing with forward tilt 1. Additionally, on the topic of reading, all of the spells, and I do mean all of the spells, present some sort of difficulty for Duck Hunt's ability to control zone, be it because the projectiles out of menu select are better, or because the melee options are just generally quicker. It's a pain in the ass to break zone on Hero, or control zone in general, so compared to Snake, which is a relatively even if chaotic matchup, going Hero is definitely the smart option from a competitive standpoint.
So what can you tell me about Hero versus Banjo? How's that matchup?
Definitely a weird one that I've only seen in, but Hero is able to edge guard fairly well, and then the grenade is actually really good on Banjo's half. So it's a messy one, but it's a doable one for Banjo.
So, all right, the create. Okay, so aside from the language barrier, we've already seen somewhat of a ban for Hero already. I think what was it, South Australia banned this character like around the time he was released, a little bit shortly thereafter, when everyone was kind of complaining.
Yeah, it was like a 2-week window,
Eh,
like reading.
Yeah, and that was for different reasons, mostly because people are like, we don't want all of the random critical hits and everything else in Smash. This character's not fair. He's broken. Yada, 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 yada. But, you know, we haven't really seen any relevant or real hero results. And I remember this argument for Bayo, so it's not like I'm just trying to lean on this argument. But, yeah, that was the original reason to ban the character. That just sort of kind of seemed off basis personally. But, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are clamoring for this, and the language barrier is definitely an easy argument to basically continue to have that argument, the bigger argument of just banning him. So it's interesting. You hate to see characters get banned, like in my opinion.
Yeah, see, I'm one of those people who I have a heavy personal bias against banning pretty much anything,
Same.
unless it's proven that it's just something that's completely game breaking. Because I don't like how can I put this? I hate rewarding bad behavior. Like I don't like the idea that a big group of people can just say, let's get rid of this because we don't like it without valid
you want the
without valid reasoning to something that is not game breaking. It's in, and when you go and get rid of that, then the floodgates get like just tend to open. Like the Pokemon Trader and Joker thing. That is a very viable game breaking bad thing. Like even if it hasn't been abused yet, you want to prevent abuse before it happens. Game & Watch Pikachu, busted. You don't let that happen, and for a good reason. But for Hero, this whole thing with the language thing, I get it. Like that is an actual thing, but it's still. I just don't feel like it's to the degree of banning yet. Like I don't know. Like I'm kind of indifferent because it does suck, but like I just don't think that it's worthy of it. That's just
I think
view.
This was just probable cause, man. This was the argument. There's so many people kind of out for this guy to start. Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
Finish what you were gonna say.
No. That's all I got.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say Raito was a good sport about the whole thing. He put it, he was a good sport in saying that, like, English is a universal language, and I should have studied up on what the English spells are.
You love to see accountability. I guess. Even though
some top players were like, it's horseshit to force someone to like have to learn another language, because which leads me into another interesting point is that Nairo, using his top player status, tweeted at Nintendo Versus being like, "Yo, like, is there any way we can like adjust this to make it universally understandable for everybody, like depending on the language?"
Yeah, I was actually if somebody didn't bring it up, I was gonna mention the idea of the icon system, like when people talk about the Dragon Quest games, albeit I haven't played, actually have like symbol-based icon system of the spell next to the spell.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you can have something like that, people can react to a spell icon and see, oh, even if I can't read what it is, if it's just a generically shaped kind of fire symbol, that's bad. That's bad juju. I need to get away. Like, or if you see like big purple spark, like, oh shit, that's kamikaze. Or mana. The hell's the mana burst move again? I forgot.
Just magic burst, right?
Magic burst. Thank you. I don't know why I can't remember that.
You had half of it.
Playing too much World of Warcraft, man. I'm just forgetting all the spells. But but like that's just it's one of those things that could be a nice ease of use thing that prevents not only the amount of effort and time that the game developers put to see this character in play, because even though competitively we're seeing issues, there's a lot of time that went into this character, and that's a big part of why I don't want to see it go. It's brand new. It's not meta breaking. If we could have icons of some kind, that would make a big difference when it comes to international play.
Yeah, let's just say that like they fix that issue, for whatever reason they really listen and they fix it. Then in my mind, there's no reason for this character to ever really be banned. If we never banned Bayonetta in Smash 4, I don't know. Like, I just can't imagine banning what I would consider a mid-tier. Like, this character doesn't beat a lot of the top-tier characters at all, or even some of the regular characters. Like, he's just like...
Didn't it take Meta Knight like years before seeing an almost universal ban?
Yeah,
It was a while.
from what I understand, it took a few years, and even then, it was region dependent. But yeah, like I do like that Nairo's, find the middle ground using his like top player status and his like close connections with the Nintendo versus.
Yeah,
People
it's really
be
good.
like, yeah, because like he even said it himself. He's like, hey, like me, Leo, and Mr. R are gonna be going to Japan soon. So like, what if there's a hero man in Japan that's gonna we're not gonna know what the hell that they're saying to us. And it's interesting that the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I don't remember the context of the post, but I believe it was from Nintendo of France that said for official Nintendo events, Hero is actually banned where all the other DLC characters are allowed. And it's like the first instance of Hero being banned by like an official or a character being banned in general by an official like Nintendo sponsored event. So I don't know if
I
you guys...
remember this. Yeah, this was brought up on Twitter recently about rules having to do with some sort of tournament. And on top of the Smash Ball being turned off, which is like revolutionary for an official tournament, they specifically outlined Hero and then any character that released past the date of Banjo. So implied Terry Beauregard, and then if Fighter 5 comes out in the near future. So like the allowed would be Plant, Joker, and Banjo. It's just weird that they very specifically skipped over Hero, as if they understand that Hero is some sort of problem or not well agreed upon.
Yeah, and I wonder like who is involved with it, because it's got to be somebody who generally has a viewpoint of the scene. Like, was it people who generally study the scene, or is it just like some TO they got from the area who they found trustworthy, who's like, hey, I hate Hero, and they just decided to get rid of him? Like, it's something, one of those behind the scene things that we'll never know. But it is really interesting that being a Nintendo sanctioned event, like you said, that they straight up just banned the character.
Dude,
Well, for what it's worth, Nintendo of EU of being legitimate games.
Wait, so you broke up for a second. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. I was saying how Nintendo EU has a very like close relationship with actual like, legitimate competitive scenes, and they've shown a record of this with their support for the European Smash scene as well as the Splatoon scene. Like they're very aware of like alterations to rule sets and like specific givens in competitive settings.
I mean, they have the circuit before we do. Like that's a big thing right there.
That is true.
So the fact that they're the first on it's surprising, but too out there given their history. It's just the fact that they would be so bold as to be the first to pull the trigger, even ahead of like any other, no offense to Australia, noteworthy event scenes.
Yeah, it makes you wonder like what else is being planned back there. Like if there is some sort of like plans for any kind of support or making the game competitively viable. Who knows, man? Maybe that's the plan once all the DLC is released. It does though. Like there's something to kind of be curious about in all of it.
Yeah, like we'll obviously see how things like shake out, and I hope that instead of just banning the character, like Nintendo finds a way to just like make the character like universally like looked upon, like we discussed, and to many people on Twitter also did. Pictures are good. I'm a visionary learner, so that and I'm sure I can speak for many people when I say just give us some picture icons, make everything like universally easier. So we'll see how things shake out down the line, as like I said, we are approaching November, so that next patch is inevitable. So
true. God,
and,
these months are really flying by.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like for example, next week next weekend we're gonna have Battle for the East coming through into New Jersey, and I wanted to. I like that Chris brought up the idea of new events here, because Mainstage being the first major run by the Beyond the Smash people, and despite some scheduling snafus and the fact that I couldn't watch Top 8 live, I thought the event was a lot of fun to watch, and I think it looked like relatively a good event, and we have another Upstart event happening this weekend, or next weekend. So
yeah, it's this has been something it's come up a lot, I guess, on the podcast where you think about organic events versus like the events where there's just a lot of money out there, and the biggest thing is always like you see these massive pop bonuses and big arrangements, and in the case of Battle for the East, it's an FGC tournament, so the ambition is to have a lot of different fighting game events. And, with that comes pop bonuses for each and everything. But it's interesting because there is such like a pay-to-play precedent with like these new events, or pretty much any event really, just to incentivize people to come in the first place. Meanwhile, events all start somewhere. And there's like such a learning curve if you're an organizer, just knowing not just how to prep for an event, but like what things you even need to look out for. And like, these are all things that like even the combination of us in this call, that like things like from different angles, whether it be just getting players there, running brackets, getting commentators there, what the streams are like there's just like a lot of pieces, right? So I think like in the pressure of just trying to make a name for a tournament, it's so easy just to lose sight of just like, well, what brings people to tournaments in the first place? So I don't know. I just kind of looked at this as like a good way to kind of maybe like a nice reflective discussion about like money in esports, because we've seen it now, like between the Thunder Smashes and just other things where money gets thrown around, and sometimes things are good investments and sometimes they aren't, but regardless of that, like everybody starts somewhere despite whatever the wallet is. And I'm seeing Battle for the East being a case of that, which isn't a bad thing. It's just sort of like you really see it, like you really see it very much for what it is in terms of like cat's out of the bag, like the numbers for the event don't really necessarily match the pop bonuses. I don't think that's a bad thing to say.
It's a matter of honesty. Like anyone can look at the numbers now that they're public and see the events on the smaller end of things.
Yeah,
but that's how a lot of startup events go. Like,
well, dude, Thunder
actually, one
Gaming
event
too. Think about the events they've had, thousands and
Like,
thousands of dollars, and like
the first Thunder Gaming
little
has
baby
63
event.
entrants.
Yeah.
Another good event, the First Shine. Actually, the First Shine only had, I think, a couple of hundred entrants for Smash 4. Yet it ended up being one of the most prolific tournament series in the circuit right now.
Yeah.
By
so
circuit, just the general sense, not actual circuit.
I think there's so it's like I look at it like this, right? So and I tell people this, and it always sounds like kind of corny, and maybe it is kind of corny. But, like, it's just like, okay, as a community and even people just sitting here listening to us talk about this stuff, or even us in this call, like, there's so much more power there than we realize, because a lot of the things, like the driving forces, which all things considered, like, is money. Like, that's what talks and it keeps things interesting. So, like, bottom line is like if you want a big event in your area, or you want something to be a certain way, like if we want an event in Atlantic City and we want to like party for a weekend and basically hang out with the boys and also have like a Smash event to kind of circulate around, like then we create that. The means are only really given to us. It's like you could support or not support any event. The money's nice and it does make things interesting, but there's just so much more that goes into it in terms of just like the general interest.
I'm actually glad that like when you brought it up, you said like money in esports as a whole, because like if you look at it from both a grassroots sense and a major esports industry sense, like I tend to keep track of a lot of things because I like stats. And when you look at, say, us, where you just mentioned like us chilling for a weekend because of it, threw some money at it and it's still trying to establish its new name. But you look at, say, Heroes of the Storm from Blizzard, where they tried to make an authentic feeling esports environment from a game that just came out. And when it comes to esports, that just doesn't happen. If it doesn't feel genuine and like fleshed out properly, nobody's going to have interest. So they put so much money into this thing that just didn't succeed, and now they're pulling back. And that happens a lot with, I think, these which it's a good problem to have, that there's a lot of companies now trying to put effort into the, like, say, Smash and FGC communities as a whole. But when you're just coming out swinging hard without all the proper resources behind you, like if you don't have a good coach, then you're not going to make it past the first round. So it's nice. It's nice to see, but at the same time, like you got to make sure your resource management is with people who have been involved with the scene for a while. And it's Like you could see some changes already happen with Under Gaming from the mistakes they made, like the production quality of the first event compared to now. Like there's still things that could be improved on, but they're actively trying to improve on it. And I will give them credit anytime I see anybody improving on anything.
Sure.
And then you got the new hands of, like you said, for say Battle for the East, who are coming in swinging hard, but they also have the fact that there's so many other established things around them that people will say, well, why is this person not involved? Why is this person not involved? And then people will be afraid to get in there because they don't have that reputable name attached to it, even with all the money around it. A big name who has done things right can make a huge difference.
Yeah, and even working with like the smaller guys, like I even think like even Master Hand being involved, like I don't know, like I would consider that a good choice. And the thing
As long
is,
as you have like the rep behind it, like I get what you're saying. I guess I should have said big name, like just people who a community can trust, that they've built trust in.
right, something that's at least familiar to the people who are looking to attend. The nice part is like tournaments like this do bring some crossover and some like I was looking at bracket the other day. There are definitely a lot of names that I'd never seen before, what I would consider new tournament goers. So like it does reach an entirely new audience, but the idea is to mix that with what exists already. And I think there was an attempt at doing that here because this is something that's been involved with like the greatest thing that we even have, and I say we as Master Hand, which is like Platinum Star. Like a lot of people from those events got or who competed in the past season's worth of events got like free venue and stuff, and that was kind of cool. The problem is to put it simply, the execution just wasn't quite there. But like it's almost there. So it's just I don't know. It's interesting to see how everything hashes out and how just like young we are in the process of like just creating any kind of real infrastructure in esports. There's just like a lot of players, and I think they're just kind of getting to know each other, and that's kind of it. And the other thing is, just to like, sometimes I think people take the wrong complaints. Like it's just like, oh well, how are you gonna schedule an event the same weekend as the big house? And it's like, well, this event was scheduled for a long time. Maybe the advertising wasn't at the level of big house just because people don't know it, but like it's been on the calendar. Plus, like big house is. It's what's it? Detroit? Where's Big House again?
Yeah,
Dearborn,
it's
Michigan.
Dearborn, yes.
Yeah, so Dearborn, Michigan. Like that's like several states away. Like we've seen tournaments here. Like think about like Xenosaga 150 last week and Overclock 200. Like it's not like there's a shortage of attendees. It's just like the things have to be run the right way. So I kind of hate when people are like, "Oh, well, why would you schedule an event the same as like a big major?" It's like, well, I don't know because it's a big country with a lot of people in it. Like maybe
I have the immediate answer to this because this topic always bothered me, and I kept wondering why the hell does everybody keep getting so bad about these things? Like these things are on opposite ends of the country. It's the same as the vision that they have for a top player. It's like you follow somebody, you see what a Nairo or a Light is doing. Like there's so many people who would see Light at the beginning, like, oh, he's gotta be a jackass. He taunts all the time, this and that, blah blah blah. And he is, but he's also a funny guy.
he's a lovable jackass.
No, jokes aside on that though, it's just what people see, and they tend to forget when it comes to the organizers and events too. It's like, oh, they must all coordinate, right? They must all talk to each other behind the scenes. And how dare
Fuck no.
this West Coast event schedule the same thing that happens on East Coast? You don't see people losing their mind because Gatorland was happening over in Florida or Overclocked or Xeno during Mainstage. No, things run as they're supposed to.
Life goes on.
They're hours apart. Sometimes the whole countryside's apart, and people are losing it. Like, no, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I just saw, you always see the random tweets of people like I think it was Mr. E asking like, oh, like what should I go for? I think he ultimately decided to go with Battle for the East just because, money.
No, I think he's going to Big House.
Oh, is he?
No, yeah, he made a last minute decision to go from not going to Big House to go to Battle East, and then ultimately decided to go to Big House.
Mind you, one problem:
Interesting.
not having a room or anything. Smashers, please stop booking things and then not having rooms and all this to go into.
God,
no.
man.
Dude,
That's the Mr. E classic. What do you mean?
I know.
Mr. E has definitely like asked me to stay in my hotel room last second. To raise your hand if. But
He's the patron saint of last minute decisions.
That is true.
That's crazy. So this must have just happened because I feel like this is like 2 days ago. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just
It
gonna
was.
stay, and I was like, oh cool, that's nice. But like in either case, what I was getting at is in his replies, all I see is like, well, Battle for the East is whack because it's scheduled over. It's like, bro, let's
Yeah, I
take it
saw
down a
that
notch.
from somebody there too. I can't remember who.
It was
but...
Rishi. I was just like, come on, dude, you should
Oh
know
yeah, yeah,
better.
yeah.
You mean a Melee player talking about a Melee tournament? I'm just saying, Big House historically is very Melee focused, so it's deeply rooted in the hearts of Melee history. It doesn't have that same connection for, I guess, new Smash, let's call it. It wasn't really as well considered for Smash 4, and I feel like it's going to still garner that similar reaction in Ultimate.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it shakes down. But like you said, it's a big country, and unfortunately, not everybody can
There's
work
so
together.
many players, so many players,
And I feel like it's worth noting, there's only 364 days in a year, and there's only, what, maybe 100 weekends?
Yeah, like how does everyone
It's
get events in? Like, there's no problem with running simultaneous events. That's what people like don't realize. It's not competition.
Like, it's bound to happen.
Like you're trying to build a player base. You want more events, and you want more people going to more events. You want
Isn't it 56 weekends?
Isn't it? It goes through 52 weeks, and then you get 52 Saturdays, 52 Sundays. I might be off. I have to look at the calendar.
I don't know.
52 weeks in a
but
year.
More often than most
Okay,
people.
all right.
But my point stands that there's a lot of days.
Public school systems, man.
There's just not enough days.
Agreed.
And a lot of people work most of those days.
Facts.
So overlap is inevitable. And that's okay.
And you shouldn't always have to yield to someone else's event. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
Not only is it a big country, it's a free country. Like, you want to host an event, you host an event.
Yeah, and also like Battle for the East Smash event.
Yeah, it's an FGC event, totally.
It's an FGC event plus Apex.
Yeah.
And stuff.
This happens on a major scale too with Combo Breaker and Momocon. They've been on the same weekend for the last like 3 years.
It's no sweat.
Yeah.
Same thing with SNS and DreamHack. It's like we're used to this by now. Why are we mad all of a sudden?
So the problem is, I think there becomes a battle or like a fight to get PGR players, and that kind of brings us back to the conversation we were having last week and
you
earlier.
were gonna say a battle for the East, and you did it, and you let me down.
Wait, what happened?
I was so hoping you were gonna say there seems to be a battle for the East.
I kind of corrected myself, but there is a battle. There's a battle for PGR players, and that's the shame of it because then it does turn things into competition versus like just focusing on running a good event. You're like, oh, do I throw more money? Would this more money bring in this other player that might change a rank instead of being like, okay, maybe let me invest in this or get extra hands doing this or whatever. And it really takes away from the whole experience, man. That's what I've noticed.
Kind of harks back to what you brought up at the very beginning with the whole PGR ranking system, with people having greater value, being able to pretty much control the net outcome of what an event will be like. Like, it's you get 1, 2, and 3 out there, and all of a sudden, well, now the rest of the country is going to come because 1, 2, and 3 carry the most value to make a tournament viable. It could be at the Danbury Mall, or it could be at the Coliseum in Rome. Who knows? But it just doesn't matter because those rankings are there.
Dude, I wonder what internet's like at the Coliseum of Rome.
I gotta bet it's probably pretty good.
I heard their download speed's sick.
That would be a great place to have an argument about.
Dude, absolutely.
Yo, man, you trying to throw hands? Nah, I'm trying to throw jousts. Yeah, but
Gladius.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm sure both events are going to be fine. Obviously, trying to break in like to the esports is so hard. Like, you have to really be comfortable going negative. And, like you've seen in the past, like these smaller tournaments, they either they sink or they swim. But there's always everybody at least gets like 2 of these or something like that. Obviously Shine was one that was small in stature at the beginning, but has since evolved into a mainstay Smash tournament. So I give there's no
become legendary to have the whole roof cave in on you.
Lord, that was actually like slightly before my time, but I do remember driving someone to the hotel that night.
It's like a goal of mine each one of these events to constantly remind Frank about his ventures at Apex.
Oh, Frank, you have an Apex story?
My epic story is that one of my college mates was very close to the parking garage that collapsed due to snow.
Oh Lord, I did not know
Okay,
this.
so actually it was somebody else. Never mind. But still.
I happen to I have a lot of stories from a lot of events.
There's
Yeah,
somebody I remember who like constantly gets like horror reactions when you bring up Apex, and now I'm getting off topic. But yeah,
yeah. My stories usually end up with me and Frank, and then I have. So
same or a diner where we're there till 4 a.m.
This is all sounding very familiar.
why does this keep happening? But yeah, so that's about the gist of that. Battlefield East is gonna be fun. Obviously, yeah, I like Atlantic City. Is definitely like not as hip and cool as it used to be. It feels more like Raccoon City sometimes than than.
All right,
It was made for the
City.
boomers, man.
All right, man. Looks like I'm about to head out.
Yeah, hey man, listen, Boomers EX, like that's right up your territory, man.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
It's gonna be my first time going to Atlantic City, hilariously enough.
Same.
So you're going? You're going to Frank?
Yeah, it's been a really weird time because at first I didn't think I was going, and then I found out I was going.
Well, one of
And
the
then,
streams backed out because I know Trevor's going too.
yes, the entire Gen Game crew will be there to some capacity.
Oh, I'm trying to like get copious amounts of wasted with everybody.
Yes.
At the top of that list is definitely Trevor and Chris. Like, no doubt.
The end game of this entire podcast was for everybody to find out we actually just are only planning to just get just absolutely smashed.
I just want to get hammered and talk about. I just want to get the boomers drunk. That's literally my goal this weekend.
Yeah, man.
Can we record them and put them on the next Gloves Off episode?
Get Trevor going about a hockey argument.
Oh no!
That's my goal. Did we just lose Frank?
Oh no, I'm still here.
Okay.
My the fat boy finally got me.
Oh no! What a world we live in. But yeah, that's about it for everything we had this week. There wasn't a lot of news, but things are going to be getting interesting. Like we said, Big House and Battle for the East are coming up next week. Big House probably going to be one of the last like super big like S-tiers for the season. Maybe I completely forgot about Thunder, but that's also something to keep in mind. And
yeah, Congo Saga.
Yeah, Congo Saga coming up. I hope they fly out my favorite Donkey Kong main, Shoya Rivers, please.
Oh my god. I can definitely see him going out there as Diddy Kong if he actually did that.
I don't know. James kind of hates James hates Diddy Kong. He just don't want but yeah,
James's Diddy Kong is Tune's character.
Yeah, I love when James Diddy Kong goes down to Bear and like it just does ethers out of shield. It's just it's such a good Diddy Kong.
Well, hold on a minute.
This got weird. But yeah, so as we finish off here, obviously let's do the old plugging of the stuff. So obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at KoopaNJ. Battle for the East is probably going to be my last like major tournament that I go to. Well, I say that loosely. Like the tri-state area is like booming with shit. Like they just announced that Xeno collaboration at the new OOS venue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of hype about that. So I'll probably be going to that. But as for like big events that involve me getting in my car for copious amounts of hours at a time, Battle for the East will probably be my last one of the year. So check me out there. Follow me on Twitter for all the fun stuff. Anybody else got the plug?
Besides open source Smash, which Koopa, thank you for plugging. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Plug for Return to Yoshi's Island because it's gonna be fun. Maybe not big, but it'll be a lot of fun, and I would like it to be.
What's the dates for the lovely crowd there?
November 2nd for the Yoshis and 19th for Open Smash. For Open Source Smash, it is a capped at 96 event, and New York has shown in the past that whenever an event has a small cap, they're unusually fast to sign up. So if you're looking to get involved, sign up now while it's in early bird registration.
Must be nice.
That's the only time they're ever fast with anything. So I gotta give them credit where it's due.
It's they react quickly when it comes to the you don't know what he got till it's gone, or the day before the event. It's only those.
That venue looks dope though, so I'm pretty
Yes.
excited for that.
Yeah, I'm
Perfect.
actually looking forward to going out to that. For me, it's the usual. Follow me at FB_Ajax, and we got Synthesis Weekly is going on Mondays. And check out Thursday Night Fights over for Mass. Not that I'm going to that, but just go check them out. And Retro Rumble this Saturday, which still has a couple days left on registration. So hopefully people go check that out. That's going to be at the Hartford Convention Center, run by GBS, the local CT people. So it's going to be nice. It's a good con. A lot of classic games and some cosplay contests I believe they have going on there too. So that's good for those people who like to check that stuff out.
Dank.
And I will also be at Battlefield. I plan to travel a lot more this upcoming winter because I missed things in previous years, and I quite literally just cannot stand not being at events. So I plan to, whether compensating or not, go to things such as Congo Saga, Genesis, and the likes. So hopefully I'll see.
I believe the kids call that FOMO.
Yeah, there's a whole in the Smash scene. It's hard to avoid, but fruitful days are upon us here on the northern East Coast. So let's hope all of us don't have that feeling of missing out.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, man. You could, as always, follow me at CSantoZX. Catch me being a little bit more active, and I'm like working on a number of different things, different projects that I'm trying to integrate with Master Hand. So I'll be looking to kind of keep people up to date on that as soon as I'm ready to. I've been having a lot of interesting conversations, which is nice. It's nice just to see like things moving. But other than that, of course, make sure you follow this podcast. We have our SoundCloud. It's basically SoundCloud/MHGGo. Spotify coming soon, TM. If you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure you give a thumbs up, share with a buddy. Definitely helps a lot with visibility. If you found this of any kind of value or good info, all those things, you could definitely follow Masterhand Gaming on Twitter. That's at Masterhand Games, and you can find a ton of stuff on Masterhand Games Twitter. We've been doing a pretty good job, especially with like the players local to this area, even in the Northeast, not just our New Jersey guys anymore. Kind of between like tournament results and who's doing what, things like voting for wishes for Summit, Ultimate Summit 2. Pretty much everything you could think of. We got some of the best players in the country in this area, so definitely looking to showcase that a little bit more moving forward. But I guess with all that, that's gonna bring us to the end here. So
yeah, that's gonna be it for us. Tune in next week.
Yeah, next week. I don't even know what we're doing, but you should tune in, and then
we should
we'll
just
see
fuck
you there.
around and do a podcast at Battlefield.
It's probably not a bad idea. We'll be there for a few days, and we might have.
Let's get hammered. We'll bring your computer to your hotel room, and we'll just say fuck all.
We have a giant compilation of drunken Ganondorf Ajax just destroying people. Would be a great time.
I kind of like the idea.
I might throw up. I don't know.
But anyways, thanks everybody for watching, and we will catch you next episode.
Goodbye.